A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away. Random House Audio presents Star Wars Kenobi by John Jackson Miller. Read for you by Jonathan Davis. Until the time is right, disappear we will. Yoda. Darkness has fallen on the galaxy. The Emperor has taken control of the Galactic Republic, aided by Anakin Skywalker, once one of the brightest of the Jedi Knights, charged with protecting the helpless. Having fallen to the dark side of the mystical force, Anakin lives on as the Emperor's ruthless enforcer, Darth Vader. But hope also lives in the form of Anakin's infant son, protected by Anakin's friend and former mentor, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Kenobi flees with the baby to the remote world of Tatooine, where years earlier, Anakin's fall truly began when he vengefully massacred a native clan of Tusken Raiders. Unaware of that event, and still believing that he killed Anakin in their desperate duel, Kenobi settles into a new role, watching over the child and his adoptive family, the Larses, from a distance. But hiding is difficult for one accustomed to action, and even desert Tatooine has those who require the help of a Jedi. Prologue. It's time for you to go home, sir. While Ulbrich woke up and looked at his empty glass. What's that, you say? The green-skinned bartender prodded the old human on the shoulder. I said it's time for you to go home, Master Ulbrich. You've had enough. That ain't what I meant, Ulbrich said, rubbing the crust from his bloodshot eyes. You called me sir, and then master. He leered suspiciously at the barkeep. Are you an organic or a droid? The bartender sighed and shrugged. This again. I told you when you asked earlier, my eyes are large and red because I'm a Duros. I called you what I did because I'm polite. And I'm polite because I'm not some old moisture farmer, deranged from too many years out in the... Because, the white-whiskered man interrupted, I don't do business with no droids. Droids are thieves, the lot of them. Why would a droid steal? To give to other droids, Ulbrich said. He shook his head. The bartender was clearly an idiot. What would, the bartender started to ask. Never mind, he said instead. He reached for a bottle and refilled the old farmer's glass. I'm going to stop talking to you now. Drink up. Ulbrich did exactly that. To Ulbrich's mind, there was one thing wrong with the galaxy. People. People and droids. Well, those were two things. But then again, wasn't it wrong to limit what was wrong with the galaxy to just one thing? How fair was that? That was how the old farmer's thinking tended to go, even when he was sober. In 60 standard years of moisture farming, Ulbrich had formed one theory about life after another. But he'd spent enough of the early years working alone, Odd how not even his farmhands wanted to be around him. That all his notions had piled up, unspoken. That was what visits to town were for. Opportunities for Ulbrich to share the wisdom of a lifetime. When he wasn't getting robbed by diabolical droids pretending to be green bartenders. They weren't supposed to allow droids inside Junix's joint. That was what the ancient sign outside the Anchorhead bar said. Junix, whoever he was long since dead and buried in the sands of Tatooine, but his bar still stood. A dimly lit dive where the cigarra smoke barely covered the stink of farmers who'd been in the desert all day. Ulbrich seldom visited the place, preferring an oasis establishment closer to home. But having traveled to Anchorhead to chew out a vaporator part supplier, he'd stopped in to fill his canteen. Now, half a dozen lumales later, Ulbrich began thinking about home. His wife was waiting for him there, and he knew he had better go. Then again, his wife was waiting for him there, and that was reason enough for him to stay. He and Magda had had a horrible fight that morning over whatever it was they'd fought about the night before. Ulbrich couldn't remember what that was now, and it pleased him. Still, he was an important man, with many underlings who would steal him blind if he was away too long. Through a haze, Ulbrich looked to the chrono on the wall. There were numbers there, and some of them were upside down. And dancing. Ulbrich scowled. He was no fan of dancing. Ears buzzing, he slid off the bar stool, intent on giving the digits a piece of his mind. That was when the floor attacked him, swiftly and scurrilously, intent on striking him in the head when he wasn't looking. It would have succeeded had the hand not caught him. "Careful there," said the hand's owner. Bleary-eyed, Ulbrich looked up the arm and into the hooded face of his rescuer. Blue eyes looked back at him from beneath sandy-colored eyebrows. "I don't know you," Ulbrich said. "Yes," the bearded human responded, helping the old farmer back onto the stool. Then he moved a few paces away to get the bartender's attention. The brown-cloaked man had something in his other arm. Ulbrich now saw a bundle of some kind. Alerted, Ulbrich looked around to see whether his own bundle was missing before remembering that he never had a bundle. "This isn't a nursery," the bartender told the newcomer, although Ulbrich couldn't figure out why. "I just need some directions," the hooded man responded. Ulbrich knew many directions. He'd lived long enough in Tatooine to visit lots of places, and while he hated most of them and would never go back, he prided himself on knowing the best shortcuts to them. Certain that his directions would be better than those provided by a droid pretending to be a Duros, Ulbrich moved to intervene. This time, he caught the railing himself. Ulbrich looked back warily at the glass on the bar. "That drink ain't right," he said to the bartender. You're... The newcomer interjected cautiously. "You mean to say they're watering the ale?" The bartender looked at the hooded guest and smirked. "Sure, we always add the scarcest thing on Tatooine to our drinks. We rake in the credits that way." "Ain't what I mean," Ulbrich said, trying to focus. "You've done slipped something in this drink to put me out, so you can take my money. I know you city types." The bartender shook his bald head and looked behind him to his similarly hairless wife, who was washing up at the sink. "Close it up, Una. We've been found out." He looked to the hooded stranger. "We've been piling customers' bodies in the back room for years, but I guess that's all."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?